Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. MVP has just dropped brand new mid-range that's overstable called the Balance. Yes, it's Simon Lizotte's new mid-range. How's it gonna fly?
This is the mid-range I've been waiting for.
Let's go test it out. All right guys, if you've been paying attention to MVP for a while, you know that we've had 3 different versions of the Balance. We had a super overstable version that came out last year, and then they came out with 2 proto versions that Simon was trying out because he wasn't quite happy with this version. Now, which one did he end up settling on? Well, we call it the V2, version 2 Balance is what he settled on, and that's what we just got a stock release of this past week. So we got a cool special edition and the basic stock stamp here. I'm gonna test them out, compare them to the old Balances, and gonna also look at my current mid-range lineup, and who knows, maybe the Balance will fill one of those slots. Let's find out. All right, first off, the numbers on the Balance are 5502. Really like those numbers, should be flying really good. And the weights on these, I got a stock stamp one. This one is 173. And then the special edition stamp, this is 176, so a little bit heavier. Gotta say, the special edition one looks super sick. I like the nice swirly rim on this. It's kind of matched with the stamp there too. So, all right, let's fly. First up, stock stamp. Oh, baby, okay. Is it beefy? Heck yeah, that's a lot of beef. All right, this one's even heavier. That's about as flat as I can get. I really like the flight of that one. Beautiful. Now, from what I hear, the V2, which this is the proto V2 I've had for a little while, this one's 177 grams. This one actually flew a lot more stable than the V3. The V3 one is great for arm speeds like me and some of you guys out there, but I think Simon really liked the overstability of this V2. So let me throw this one real quick. Yeah, nice and straight. Good dump at the end. The V3, I was able to get a little bit of stand up with this one. I mean, it is overstable, but I think a lot of you guys out there are gonna like this one too. Yeah, see, a lot straighter. Yeah. All right, so stay tuned because I guarantee you they're not going to abandon this V3 version. This one is such a great flyer, especially for guys like us. So today is a perfect day to test out these Balances because we do have a lot of wind going on. This is exactly when you're going to want to use a disc like this. Normally, when I'm throwing the hex, it's going to be a situation where there's not a lot of headwind, but if I get any headwind, my hex is really going to flip over. So that's when I bump up to either the Eclipse reactor or the Pyro, depending on the wind situation. The Balance, I feel like, is supposed to be kind of like a situation where you're going to get a headwind and you want a hex flight out of a disc. That's when you're going to bump up to this, at least for Simon. But for those of us who don't throw as fast as Simon, it might be throwing a little bit more like a Pyro. All right, first flights out of these, man, super overstable, which, I mean, that's basically what this is supposed to be. It's supposed to be not quite as stable as a Pyro, but supposed to help you in those headwind situations or when you need a nice flex shot. So speaking of flex shot, let's put these on a little Anheuser, see how they fight out. Oh, went to flat pretty quick. Nice overstable finish, wow. Gotta say, that orange one in particular is pretty similar to my Pyro. All right, let's try this special edition one. Yeah, equally as stable. Both of those are pretty beefcake. Now, these are brand new, so I anticipate they're gonna break in a little bit, but let's throw my Pyro against these. All right, so here's my overstable lineup. Got the Eclipse reactor, got the Pyro. Let's start with the Eclipse reactor. Let's try this on a similar angle that I just threw those Balances on. Yep, that's why I love the reactor. Just holds that line a little bit straighter. Now, let's go up against the Pyro here. Yeah, I gotta say, my Pyro and my Balance at this point, they're pretty similar. So for arm speeds like me and some of you guys out there, is the Balance basically just another version of the Pyro? I mean, it might be, honestly, especially until it starts to beat in. Now you got to remember, My Pyros I've been throwing for quite a bit, so they are a little bit more beat in. When you first get a Pyro, they're super overstable. So maybe that's gonna be the same thing with this balance. So just keep that in mind. Well, one thing I really love my Pyros and my Eclipse reactors for is doing sidearm shots. So let's test these balances out on some sidearm shots. We've got a basket sitting out there. Let's run right at it. Wow, I swung that way wide. Heck yeah, brought it back to circle's edge. Wow, can definitely depend on the stability of this disc. All right, let's go for the special edition. Lot lower, flare skip, come on. Yeah, grass is just a little too wide, but can see how that really stands up to the torque of a forehand shot. Really held a nice straight shot there. All right, now let me show you my reactor. Yeah, I got a lot of flip up, a little wobble juice there. Definitely a lot straighter, circle's edge. And then the Pyro, I'm definitely gonna have to swing it wide, very similar to the first balance shot. Yeah, pretty much stayed on hyzer the whole time. Nice. All right, guys, is the new balance closer to an Eclipse reactor or a Pyro? Gotta say for me, it's definitely the Pyro. Well, guys, after all those shots I just threw, the balance definitely did go the furthest. And if you look at the numbers of the balance compared to a Pyro, it is 5502, whereas the Pyro is 5402.5. So the balance, I would say, has a little bit extra glide than the Pyro. So if you're looking for a little bit extra glidey Pyro, balance might definitely be for you. But I gotta say, straight out of the box, it is flying very close to a Pyro. Can't wait to see how these things beat in, and who knows, they're probably gonna have to release this in some different plastics. Maybe even a nice fission balance would be perfect for arm speeds like me. Well, if you guys are looking to get some discs like these, head on over to Disc Golf Deals USA. Use my code, it'll save you 10%. All right, until I see you next time, peace out.